Yes, hello. It's wonderful to be here again. And you know what? The program today was actually meant for radio, but that was where it started. And we like to reminisce because that's what it's all about. Just a chat. We bring in people who have made their mark in their chosen businesses, profession, people who have touched lives here in Nigeria, in the world, and of course, everyday living. In a social gathering, this is one name, one face you cannot miss out, particularly here in Nigeria, in Africa, and of course, the world over now, with the aid of new media and of course, what you are watching right now. My guest today is a colleague, a friend, a brother of 35, 36 years. Bisi Olatilo is my guest. Bisi, you're welcome to the show. Oh, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's been 20 years of Bisi Olatilo's show, just like yesterday. How did it start for you?
First of all, let me thank God for the outpouring of goodwill, good wishes that has enveloped the air since I made it known that BOS has turned 20. I never, ever would have thought I had made such an impact, going by the way the goodwill were coming in, the calls, and the outpouring of love all over the place. Totally overwhelmed, I must say. Now, let me go back in time and let's try and look at how it all started. Like a joke. I mean, I'm not, if I tell you this, it's like taking coal to Newcastle if I start telling you the story that you know about already. Now, in 1999, when I became one of those who needed to begin to look for how to begin to live your own life, all on your own. Before then, I used to be very popular as the master of ceremonies at almost every
occasion.
event. It has to be me. So a friend of mine whom I came across, his name is Eddie Emesiri. He was working with Dark Communications, owners of AIT and Ray Power at the time. He noticed that I was talented, master of the 3 languages, as a toast at all events, as master of ceremonies. He just suggested to me, he said, "Gentlemen, yes, thank God you're very talented. We can see that you're all over the place, but are you thinking of tomorrow? You could be able to make some bucks along the line. Get a cameraman, get a camera, and go all these events that you're MC at, cover them and put them in a form of social diary, 15 minutes or under it. And let us see how that goes." The idea, fantastic, but how do we prosecute it without having to go through a platform you must pay on? That was it. That was the hurdle we had to cross. But thank God that NTAS, well, they tried to prove it a little difficult at the time. But the man who took us all arms open and took us in was High Chief Raymond Aleo Dorpesi. And that is why we could say that we're the longest running privately produced general interest infotainment magazine show today. Because, it's not easy to run a program on television. Now, to stop, being able to do it for 20 years, unstoppable, unstopped, then there should be somebody who's helping. Not a single cover from any bank. Must make that very clear from the beginning. But if you're talking about the man who's helping, you could actually call what Raymond Douglas has done to us like goodwill account. If you're owing, ideally, if you're owing, it has a, he could actually ask you to stop or pay. Are you with me? But he would say, go on. You could pay at your own terms and the rest of it. That is the kind of thing we're enjoying from AIT that has made us be able to broadcast for 20 years,
Indeed.
and I talk about that all the way.
Yes, I knew you said goodwill brought you here.
Okay.
I look at the BOS show, and what I see is the enthusiasm. And it's not just the love for people wanting to exhibit what there is. I mean, our social life, particularly the Nigerian aspect, which is igbadun, whether you like it or not, it's enjoyment, something we love to do. You cashed in on this very quickly from what somebody threw to you. But initially, you were a very shy person. How did you break that barrier from master of ceremony and getting people to listen to you and put their functions on camera?
Well, I was sharing something with you before we came on the camera, and I said to you that this same friend of mine, a dear Missouri, who is from Bayelsa, by the way, who introduced me into this business, so to speak. It's my business. I should have known it even better than he did, but here he is, being the one to show me the road. He said to me that, they usually run live broadcasts.
Mhm.
Ours would have to be after the event. But that was a trick that did it for us. Whereas live broadcasts, you don't have all the time. Like with mistakes and the rest, you don't have the time to do the right things there. Anything just goes, and people were taking note. So when he goes, as he said, he was the one that introduced us to his first business. May God bless Vice Marshal Nurin Yusuf. So it was the very first one we did, and he remembered that. From there we went to Bayelsa when Alamasia was in power. And Alamasia...
That's the late governor.
The late governor, may God bless his soul too. He took us he had loved what we were doing all along, and in fact, we became the reference point when it came to such things, broadcast and the rest of it. He says, you just do live and that's all, but look at what this man is doing. It takes his time. Everybody sees themselves properly. Takes the dressing, helping us to project Nigeria and all. He was the one doing the marketing for us, by the way. So these are the things that helped us to stay. Because if you start on and nobody is saying anything about you, or how do you put it now, doing business with you, you will die before too long. It doesn't matter how much you have.
Indeed, no.
So these were the guys that really pepped us up, and if they watch today, they see a different show. Tomorrow they see a different thing. Suddenly, you must be in the right thing. So these are the things that stabilized us.
Now, let me take you back to your childhood. You spoke very fluently the three very distinct Nigerian dialects: Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. How did it start for you, your childhood?
I was born in Kano. And I lived in Sabongiri. That's a place, they call it the new settlement for people who are not
indigenous.
What do you call this? Natives of the place. And for 13 years, until I was ready to go to secondary school, I was there. And I was living amongst Igbos and Hausas. But the question would be, yes, I'm able to speak Igbo and Hausa fluently, but that's the problem. Not even a smattering of my language, Yoruba, did I understand. Neither was I very close to our culture. So that was a big problem for us. So when we, at the time we finished, I don't want to say they finished with us. At the time it was right for us to get back to the South. My father now said, no, you must go to a secondary school in your village. So that you get accustomed with the culture of your people and be able to speak the language and even the dialect. Thank God that decision was taken. Although I had other offers from other secondary schools, but my father said, no, it has to be Kiriji Memorial College. So thank God. That's the reason why today I speak Yoruba, like a Yoruba man, and speak our dialect the right way it should be spoken. So but then my greatest regret all the time about this problem is, when we were growing up, Nigeria was one.
Indeed.
How could I, a Yoruba man, live in Kano and be able to speak not just Hausa but Igbo? That should puzzle anybody. Ideally, I should have been, maybe grew up in the East to be able to speak the language, but I got this, I picked this up in the North. That just shows you how much together Nigeria
the
was.
Cosmopolitan nature.
But it's unfortunate that there's a missing link. I don't know where we got it wrong, and I don't know if we can get back to the glory days of our land. And because I come from a Christian family. In the North, most of them predominantly are Muslims, but we always went to rejoice with each other at festival periods. When it was time for Easter, they came all the way from the hinterland to rejoice with us. When it was time for their own celebrations, we rejoiced with them. And you could not even decipher who was Igbo, who was Hausa. We just flowed along like that. But all of that is missing today. You don't know. That's a critical problem that I think we all have a role to play in to be able to sort it out.
Well, indeed, that's the job that you have taken very seriously, particularly highlighting our culture and the beauty, our dressing, our happiness. I believe and I remember, I dare anyone to challenge me on this.